California, the Golden State, a place known for its stunning landscapes, from the sun-kissed beaches to the majestic mountains. It's a land of dreams where people come to chase the sun and surf the waves. Land of sun, surf, and increasingly wildfires. These wildfires are not just a seasonal nuisance, they are becoming a year-round menace, threatening lives and livelihoods. These aren't your campfire sing-along type fires, folks. These are raging infernos that can engulf entire communities in a matter of hours. We're talking massive, destructive infernos tearing through forests, towns, lives. Firefighters are often left battling these blazes for days, sometimes weeks, with no end in sight. The Golden State is literally becoming the charred state, and yeah, climate change is playing a part. Rising temperatures and prolonged droughts are creating the perfect conditions for these wildfires to thrive. But there's another culprit, one with a name and a logo. PG&E Pacific Gas and Electric, the state's largest utility company, has been at the center of many of these devastating fires. PG&E, or Pacific Gas and Electric, is California's largest utility company. They provide power to millions of homes and businesses across the state. They provide power to millions, but with great power comes great responsibility, and unfortunately, PG&E has been falling short. But here's the catch. They also have a nasty habit of starting the fires that are literally turning California to ash. Ironic, right? Their aging infrastructure and lack of proper maintenance have led to numerous fires over the years. A company meant to bring light is actually bringing the heat. Their equipment failures have sparked some of the most destructive fires in California's history. But this isn't some recent phenomenon. PG&E's troubled history with wildfires dates back decades. Oh no, PG&E's fire-starting skills go way back. From the early 20th century to today, their legacy is marred by a series of catastrophic fires, each one more devastating than the last. For over a century, PG&E has been playing with fire, literally. Their aging equipment neglected for decades is basically a tinderbox waiting to explode. Power lines dangle like forgotten Christmas lights, sparking wildfires with depressing regularity. Think about that. A company responsible for something as essential as electricity can't even keep its wires from starting fires. Now, California has always had wildfires, it's part of the natural cycle. But climate change? That's like pouring gasoline on an already smoldering situation. Hotter temperatures, drier vegetation, stronger winds. It's a recipe for disaster, and PG&E is right there, adding the match. Let's talk about PG&E's infrastructure, shall we? We're talking about power lines older than your grandparents, held together by hope and duct tape. These lines crisscross vast stretches of California's wilderness, just waiting for a strong breeze or a falling branch to turn them into fire starters. Instead of investing in upgrades, modernizing their grid, PG&E chose a different path. The path of least resistance, the path of neglecting basic maintenance, the path of prioritizing profits over people. They had the money, they just decided to spend it elsewhere. Shocking, I know. Remember the Dixie Fire? Of course you do. It was a catastrophe that left an indelible mark on the landscape and the people of California. The fire raged uncontrollably, consuming everything in its path and leaving behind a trail of devastation that will take years, if not decades, to recover from. It was only the second largest wildfire in California history, scorching nearly 1 million acres. Imagine that, an area larger than some small countries, reduced to ash and cinders. The sheer scale of the destruction is almost incomprehensible. And guess what sparked it? A seemingly innocuous event that turned into a disaster of epic proportions. A tree falling on, you guessed it, a PG&E power line. A single tree, a single moment, and the consequences were catastrophic. They were slapped with a $225 million lawsuit for that one, and rightfully so. But can any amount of money truly compensate for the loss and suffering endured by so many? Families lost homes, businesses, livelihoods. Entire communities were uprooted, their lives forever changed. The emotional and financial toll is immeasurable. All because PG&E couldn't be bothered to trim a few trees. A simple act of maintenance that could have prevented a monumental disaster. Then there's the Camp Fire, the deadliest and most destructive wildfire in California history. A tragedy that eclipsed even the Dixie Fire in terms of human cost and destruction. 85 lives lost, Paradise and Concow towns wiped off the map. And the culprit? Once again, it was PG&E, a faulty PG&E transmission line. Neglect and failure to maintain their infrastructure led to unimaginable loss. They pleaded guilty to 84 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 84 lives. Let that sink in. Each count represents a person, a family, a story cut short. The weight of their negligence is staggering. So what happens when a company repeatedly sparks massive, deadly wildfires? Well, they get sued. A lot. PG&E has been hit with billions of dollars in lawsuits, fines, and settlements. They even had to declare bankruptcy in 2019 because, starting fires is expensive. The public outrage is palpable. People are fed up with PG&E's negligence, their recklessness, their utter disregard for public safety. They're tired of living in fear, constantly wondering if the next wildfire will be sparked by a company that's supposed to be providing a basic service. Power down, danger up, the faulty logic of PSPS. Now PG&E knows they have a problem. Their solution? Public Safety Power Shutoffs, or PSPS. Sounds fancy, right? Except all it means is that when the wind picks up, they shut off power to millions of people, plunging them into darkness. No warning, no recourse. The elderly, the disabled, businesses, hospitals, all left in the lurch. Because apparently it's easier to inconvenience millions than it is to fix your damn power lines. It's like putting a band-aid on a gaping wound and calling it a day. Profits over people, a story as old as time. This narrative has been playing out for decades, if not centuries, across various industries and sectors. The pursuit of profit often overshadows the well-being of individuals, communities, and even the environment. It's a tale that has been told time and time again, yet it continues to unfold in new and devastating ways. Let's be real, folks, this isn't just about negligence or incompetence, it's a systemic issue rooted in the very fabric of corporate culture. When profit margins become the sole focus, everything else takes a back seat. The frustration you see on people's faces, the anger in the news reports, it's all a result of a system that values money over human lives. It's about greed, plain and simple. Greed that drives executives to prioritize their bonuses and luxury lifestyles over the safety and well-being of the communities they serve. The lavish homes, the expensive cars, all funded by cutting corners and ignoring safety protocols. It's a stark contrast to the disappointment and despair felt by those who suffer the consequences. For years, PG&E prioritized profits over safety, choosing to line the pockets of executives and shareholders instead of investing in much-needed infrastructure upgrades. The aging infrastructure, the neglected safety measures, all point to a company more interested in short-term gains than long-term stability. This isn't just a recent development, it's a pattern of behavior that has been going on for years. They knew the risks, they were warned repeatedly, but they chose to ignore them. Community members raised concerns, experts issued warnings, yet all these were brushed aside. The warning signs were clear, but they were overshadowed by the allure of profit. The voices of the concerned were drowned out by the clinking of coins and the rustling of dollar bills. Why? Because safety doesn't make money. Investing in safety measures, upgrading infrastructure, these are seen as expenses rather than necessities. In the boardrooms, discussions revolve around profit graphs and financial reports, with little regard for the human cost. Safety budgets are slashed, concerns are dismissed, all in the name of maintaining a healthy bottom line. Wildfires, on the other hand, they are a stark reminder of the consequences of such negligence. The raging fires, the burning forests, the tireless efforts of firefighters, all paint a grim picture. These wildfires are not just natural disasters, they are man-made catastrophes, fueled by years of neglect and greed. They've also become masters at playing the political game, spending millions lobbying politicians, influencing regulations, and ensuring that their interests are always protected. The corridors of power are filled with lobbyists, the campaign coffers with corporate donations. It's a well-oiled machine designed to keep the status quo intact, to ensure that regulations are favorable and oversight is minimal. It's a classic tale of corporate greed and political corruption, with the people of California caught in the middle. The boardrooms and political offices may be far removed from the everyday lives of Californians, but the impact is felt deeply. The distress, the frustration, the sense of helplessness, all stem from a system that prioritizes profits over people. This story, as old as time, continues to unfold, leaving a trail of devastation in its wake. Golden State Energy, a brighter future, but there's a glimmer of hope on the horizon. A proposal is gaining traction to transform PG&E into a publicly owned utility to be called Golden State Energy. Imagine that, a utility company that actually prioritizes the public good. A company that invests in renewable energy, modernizes the grid, and actually cares about the safety of its customers. It sounds too good to be true, right? But hey, we can dream, can't we? The people of California deserve better than a company that treats them like collateral damage. They deserve a utility that works for them, not against them. From ashes to action, holding PG&E accountable. So, what can we do? We demand better. We hold PG&E accountable for their actions. We push for real solutions like a state takeover that puts the needs of the people first. We fight for a future where California is known for its golden sunsets, not its burning forests. This isn't just about California, folks. It's about corporate greed, climate change, and the fight for a just and equitable future. It's about demanding better from those in power and refusing to accept the status quo. It's about time we put out the fire of corporate